views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hey, everybody. How are you? Hope all is well. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. You are watching Open BXRX. We've got another fantastic show lined up for you, and we're going to give it to you like we owe you something. In fact, coming up on today's show, we've got it all for you. We'll hear from an entrepreneur about his hospitality company and how he's inspiring our youth to follow their dreams. After that, we'll check in with a friend. It's a wonderful friend of the show to learn about how she'll be singing in the rain or singing in the new year. And then we'll hear from a legend in the arts to learn about how her work has continued and contributed to the source of inspiration for the next generation of Black and Brown creators. Plus, Bobby C, he steps into the room with the latest in the world of sports. And then finally, we'll hear from the founder of an organization that is shedding light on a void that exists in our workforce and offers a game-changing solution to the problem. So stay tuned, kick off your shoes and relax your feet. We've got a whole lot for you. We are wide open. Here we go. Hey everyone, welcome. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS, and you're watching Open. It's BronxNet's Open. You're watching a live interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. You can stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. Now, leading things off, we're joined by the host and founder of Biz Dev Line and the CEO of Toth Event Staffing. Now, he's with us today to speak about what inspired the creation of his organizations and highlight the services they offer, and to offer some valuable insight to young men and women on starting their own businesses. So please welcome to the show, Cameron Toth. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Bob Lee. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, pleasure to be in front of your audience. Really love what you're doing here. So thank you for having me.
You're always welcome. Cameron, please tell us about yourself and what inspired you to start Biz Dev Live.
My name is Cameron Toth, and I am passionate about opportunity and education. So Biz Dev Live came out of a passion to share what I've learned in entrepreneurship for the last 10 years. I founded Toth Event Staffing in 2011, and that came from a place of working for corporations. I've been laid off. There's a whole family thing where I had to go out of the country to do paperwork with my wife because there's no path to citizenship, and she's a Mexican citizen. But the end all be all was, like many people, I was at a place where I wanted more freedom in my life. I wanted to celebrate and enjoy the rewards, the fruits of my labor more. And so for me, that the answer to that was entrepreneurship. And so I started up Toth Event Staffing. Yeah. And 10 years later, we get to this pandemic situation, and I have a little bit of extra time on my hands, and I'm sort of kicking myself not starting something up in 2009. And so this is really important for everybody that's watching the show right now.
Yeah.
If you wait to start accomplishing your dreams are on hold. And that doesn't sound good.
Ooh, say that again. Say that again.
If you wait to start accomplishing your dreams are on hold, which means they're not happening, right? You're not moving towards your goals. And so I'm kicking myself because in 2009, folks like Gary Vaynerchuk and folks like Joe Rogan were getting started with their podcasts, YouTube channels, and you can see the progression 10 years later where they are. Joe Rogan sold the rights to his podcast to Spotify for $100 million. And I'm not saying you're going to make $100 million podcast in the next 10 years, but even a small slice of that sounds really good, right, Dr. Bob?
And the most important thing is to start. You have to start. Get it going. Start somewhere. That's it.
And so Biz Dev Live was started out of a place of both, I want to help entrepreneurs, because I've struggled with the financial side of my business, and I'm fortunate, right? Most new businesses fail within the first couple of years. For a business to last longer than 5 years is a huge deal. And so Tilted Event Staffing, it's provided a way of life for me that has been better than just creating a job for myself. It's created freedom and flexibility. We have in 2019 130 part-time employees. It's provided them financial ability to purchase cars and take care of some of the things in their life in their part-time, because everybody's, these are part-time staff, waiters, bartenders, and chefs, which, comes from my hospitality background. And now BizDev Live, because I've been an entrepreneur for the last 10 years and learned a few lessons, I'm able to pass that on. And I think one of the most interesting things, I was doing a lot of meetings, networking with people, which I encourage people to do, get out and meet people. That's how you grow your following, grow your audience, meeting people and really getting that face-to-face interaction, because you can be online, but even online, if you're not in the comments and directly communicating with individuals, right? If Dr. Bob Lee likes my thing, then it's appropriate for me to say thank you, not just accept it and think he's going to say thank you tomorrow. You got to create that and develop that relationship. And so one of the really interesting things that I learned while we're in the midst of the pandemic was, if you know just a little bit more, right? You don't need to be an expert as defined by you and your brain as, oh, I have to have a doctorate, I have to have this degree on the wall, I have to have 30 years of experience. If you know just a little bit more than somebody else, then you have something of offer to something of extreme value to offer, because there's somebody that really needs that information. And not only do they need that information, but they need you to advertise and promote that you're able to provide that information, because if you're not able to do that, they're not able to find you. The other day, my Wi-Fi went out, and because I knew that there was an office that I could go to, a co-working spot that I knew of and they had promoted, and I knew that I had a solution. But if they hadn't promoted themselves, if I didn't know that that was an option for me, well, I would have had to cancel my meetings. I wouldn't have gotten.
Always have to have an option. Always have to have an option.
Yeah.
Hey, Cameron, what are the communities that you serve?
So I am based in Valhalla, New York. So Westchester is my place of operation. Now, I really enjoy hospitality. And so that's what I've been doing with Tilted Event Staffing. But for the last 25 years, because I'm passionate, because I didn't graduate from high school, because I had a child at 19 years of age with a woman that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life with, because I didn't, I eventually got my GED, but I started college and did not finish college. I am super passionate about opportunity and education. And so I've been working with a nonprofit for the last 26 years called soundbusiness.org. They mainly operate out of A. Philip Randolph Campus High School in Harlem, and they serve the communities of the Bronx, Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn. And that school and that program provides college and career preparatory services for high school students. So if you can see the theme here, I am really passionate about helping people get a knowledgeable start, because if you are opening up the doors of opportunity and education early on, and you are learning from people's mistakes so that you can bypass some of those hard knock school things, that some of the stuff we just have to learn on our own, but not everything. And when you have good guides and adults that can open up those doors of opportunity and show you, not only tell you, hey, this is something that you should be looking out for, but let me show it to you. Let me bring you onto a college campus. Let me have you speak to people in the profession that you're thinking of going into, or several of the professions that you're thinking of going into. Now you start opening up these doors of being woke to the world, understanding it better, so you can make smarter choices and do things in a way that sets you up for the future in a much better way.
I like it. I was agreeing with you when you said you had a child at age 19. I did the same thing.
Young, dumb, and full of, yep, there we go.
But I like a lot of the stuff that you're talking about. You're very knowledgeable, and I think a lot of people can kind of climb onto what you're doing and what you're saying. So what's the website so we can share more information? I know we can stay on all day and
Well, the
talk about
nonprofit is
what you're doing.
soundbusiness.org, and that's great. That's a place that if we can get your help, and if you're passionate, you're watching this and you're passionate about helping young people, which I know a lot of people are, that is a great place. They serve the Bronx, they serve Manhattan, they serve Queens, they serve Brooklyn. These are students that really could use that helping hand. And a lot of times programs are set up to help the desperately poor and the most social challenged. This is a program that takes regular public school students at a very
And
well. The
talk about
nonprofit is
what you're doing.
soundbusiness.org, and that's great. That's a place that if we can get your help, and if you're passionate, you're watching this and you're passionate about helping young people, which I know a lot of people are, that is a great place. They serve the Bronx, they serve Manhattan, they serve Queens, they serve Brooklyn. These are students that really could use that helping hand. And a lot of times programs are set up to help the desperately poor and the most social challenged. This is a program that takes regular public school students at a very cool school, a Philip Randolph Campus High School, not the top
Oh,
of the top,
yeah.
not the Stuyvesant, but it is a place that we are providing educational opportunities that allows for folks that are from your community to be future leaders and set up for success. So that's one place you can go. You can find me on just almost all the social media channels. If you just type in Cameron Toth into Google or into Facebook or into YouTube, you'll find us. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, BizDev Live, Cameron Toth on YouTube. You're going to find me there. And if you're interested in having a party and taking it easy and enjoying yourself, rather than trying to be in 3 places at once, and you want a chef, a waiter, a bartender to come and help you with your party, Super Bowl Sunday's coming up. Maybe you want somebody to handle the snacks and the cleanup for you. TothEventsStaffing.com. That's the place to go.
Good. Hey, Cameron, thank you so much. So I really appreciate you. Cameron Toth. Yes, like the both of us. Both.
That's right.
Toth, host and founder of BizDev Live. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, we'll take a break. I've got more open. Don't want to move. I've got a lot for you coming up next on Open.
We built a media network for you.
BronxNet TV.
Come learn in your new state-of-the-art studios at Lehman College.
At Mercy College.
And coming soon to the South Bronx in the Hub.
Inspire with your stories, culture, history.
Your Bronx on BronxNet.
Engage with us.
Connect with us at your channels and at BronxNet.tv.
Learn, engage, inspire. BronxNet TV.
From the Bronx
to the world.
BronxNet.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm the dog Bob Lee. We are here and having a good time. I hope you are too. Our next guest is a mezzo-soprano voice and piano teacher, a professional performing arts school teaching artist for the Point CDC. She's with us today to speak about her plans as a performing artist in 2022. She's done a lot. She's doing her thing, and she's going to shed some light on the work that she's been doing with our youth. So please welcome to the show, Linda Collazo. Linda, welcome. How are you?
Hi, Dr. Bobley. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Now, last time we spoke, you were over at the school and you were teaching a lot of youngsters. Tell us about it.
Yeah, last time we spoke, I was mainly teaching due to COVID. But that's also something I love to do. I was teaching privately, my own private studio, working with people on Zoom, which is something that has kind of grown out of COVID, is that it's actually wonderful to work with people remotely. And there are many resources you could use and many ways that singers can practice and pianists can practice. And it's proven to be very fun and convenient for many people. But besides that, I've also been working with the Point CDC to reinstate their free music program as well. And over COVID, we did like choral stuff, like ensembles with youth at the after school program. Ever since, restrictions have been lifted, and we have gotten out of quarantine to an extent, we have been able to teach in person now, and I have been able to sort of reinstate the private teaching at the Point CDC instead of like group classes. It's more one-on-one based, and I think that that's better. When I was a child and I went to the Point CDC, as a music student, I was in private music
Yeah.
classes, and I really credit that to me being able to do what I do now because I was exposed to that and I was given that much attention. So yeah, right now we're working on reinstating private lessons there. So
Yeah.
right now it's just voice and piano lessons, and it's a very limited number of students. I am going to be away
Uh-oh.
for
Wait a minute.
yeah, for an
What?
engagement in Florida to sing with an opera company, Opera Naples. So
Oh, wow. All right. That's
yeah,
amazing,
so I'm gonna
Florida.
be away from the point, but I am still like helping in terms of like helping provide substitute teachers and sort of
Yeah.
planning and talking about my vision and stuff like that. But yeah, that's
Wonderful.
what I've been doing over COVID, and yeah, it's still COVID, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna
You
keep
know,
doing that.
but we're trying to live with it now. Now you can collaborate on a different level. Before it was just all through virtual performances. But now you're in class doing your thing, right? But the teachers are like, and some of the students are like, wait a minute, how long are you going to be away for?
Yeah, they're nervous, but actually interesting. They're more supportive actually. Like
Yeah.
they're amazed to see that their teacher is going away
Yeah.
and singing with a company. And they like that they're working with someone that is involved in the professional level.
Hmm.
Sometimes there are teachers out there that they have may have retired from performance, so they teach
Right.
full time, or they never got to that point and they chose to specialize in just pedagogy. Um, so um, so it's different when you're an actual like professional singer and they see that. So it can motivate them to an extent too. And even so, like while I'm away, I'm going to try my best. I don't know if I will be able to do this to teach remotely, teach
All
online if I
right.
have
They
any
would
free
love
time.
that.
Yeah, if I
Yeah, they
have
would
any
love
free
that.
time. It might be difficult though, but I think I'll be able to fit it in.
Yeah, you can make it happen. And they would love that too. My
Yeah.
teacher's the profession. They're talking about you.
Yeah.
That's your word of mouth, right?
Yeah, I mean
Oh, my teacher's
it's
this.
really moving because over COVID I went from like having 5 students to now I have over 20 private
All
students.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was actually really because my students were there for me when I didn't have any performance work because of COVID, and it was really
Yeah.
devastating for me to not be singing again. And I lost contracts, and I was, like some companies
Yeah.
couldn't keep the artists, so they just let them go. So I lost major contracts, I lost like work, I lost some money. uh, Um, so my students were the ones that actually lifted me up. And it was funny when I announced to them that I was leaving. One of them wrote to me, she's like, "Thank you so much for everything. I'm so proud of you." They none
Yeah.
of them were bitter. All of them are just so excited. So
That's
it's a really
great.
nice feeling. Yeah.
And then you got Naples, Florida. Then your second contract is where?
So it's in Aspen, Colorado. It's with
Oh, okay.
the Aspen Music Festival, which is a major honor that I
Ooh.
received. So it's not really a job, it's more just a learning. It's a school, but I received a full scholarship. So and I'm going to be working with famous opera singers. One of them is Renee Fleming, which I'm not sure if you know who she is. Yeah. So it was a crazy story. I had applied to only be like an artist where I would get paid because
Yeah.
that's at the level that I think I'm at. But unfortunately, I didn't get that. And they actually ended up emailing me privately, going like, we are able to give you the cover position, which means that if the person drops out, I would get that position. But
Yeah.
they said, but we still really want you. Are you willing to take a studio
Of
position?
course.
They were like, are you willing to take a studio position? Renee Fleming is really interested in you. Um,
Uh-huh.
and if you do take the studio position, we will try to fund you. Like we will try to make sure you go in without having to pay much. So it's a
Yeah.
$10,000 program.
Wow.
So they're giving it to me for free, and it's a major opportunity to work with like people who are really like up there in the
So that's
industry.
still another way of getting paid,
Yeah, in a
basically.
sense,
Yeah.
it's more like experience, like it's about experience, and it's just an amazing
And being in touch with other professionals that,
yeah.
like-minded people.
Yeah,
You
so
can't
I'm
beat
very
that.
excited. I'm very excited about that too.
That's
So that's what's happening. Yeah.
that's great. What are you working on right now? What are you practicing? I know you're always in the back room. Every day you got something that you're working on,
Oh
that
Lord,
you're
I'm working on
preparing
so
for.
much stuff. So for Naples, I'm going to be debuting several roles. Before Naples, I was not really performing a lot of roles. I was doing more concert work. So this is a
Uh-huh.
major stepping stone for me. I'm performing, let me see. I'm performing as, oh my gosh,
What
Ruth
your,
in Pirates of Penzance. I'm
uh-huh.
performing as Ruth in Pirates of Penzance. I'm performing as in an opera about bullying that we're gonna do in schools. I'm performing as
Wow.
Sky in Stop Bully, and then I'm performing in a major opera that's a bigger role for me, like the biggest role I've ever done.
Yeah.
It's her name is Old Alice, and it's in Glory Denied, and it has to do that opera has to do about like the longest captive in the Vietnam War.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very painful story, and it's based on a
Yeah.
true story. Um, yeah, that's what I'm preparing for. I'm just
So,
practicing it.
but thank you so much for all the wonderful work that you're doing in our school system and all the wonderful. We're waiting to see you and experience your wonderful opera talent. Um, is there a website? What's that website that you gave me before where people can go and check you out and see more of what you're doing?
So my website is www.lindacalazzo.com. So that's where you could see special updates. You could see what the work I've done, read my bio. There's also a tab about lessons and getting in touch with me. So if anyone is interested in taking any lessons at all, I'm open to that. I teach all ages. But most of all, I just love to sing and give back to my community and uplift and inspire as much as I can.
When you practice, do you go, ah,
Yeah,
ah?
I do like uh I was working with a student earlier today. C-O-E, C-O-E. Just all those scales. It's really important to making sure
All the skills.
the voice is ready to sing.
Linda,
A lot of work.
thank you so much. Linda Calazzo, mezzo soprano and voice and piano teacher. We love you and we thank you. We
Thank
appreciate you.
you. Thank you so much, Dr. Bobley.
All right. Enjoy the tour and we'll see you when you get back.
Thanks.
All right. We'll take a break. We've got more coming your way next right here on Open. Welcome back, everybody, of the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. We are into a fantastic show, and thank you for tuning in, and thank you for checking it out. Our next guest is an author, poet, singer, songwriter, and a cultural icon in the arts. She joins us today to speak about her legacy and how she has continued to preserve African-American culture and highlight some of the upcoming projects that she will be working on this year and beyond. So please welcome to the show. That's my Nana Camille Yarborough. She's in the house. She's also a Make the Grade honoree. Welcome. It's always a pleasure to see you.
And to see you. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you again.
Yeah. So you've been doing so many. Say it again.
It's always good to meet good spirits, and you have that quality about you.
I feel you too. Thank you so much. Nana, you've done so many wonderful things throughout your career, and you continue to do so. What stands out in your mind right now as some of the most important work that you've worked on or that you want to work on?
The fact that I managed to grow up under very difficult circumstances and conditions on the south side of Chicago, because I had a vision. My vision was opened up to me was lifted when I discovered the arts, when I discovered dance, when I became a student of the arts, and when I began to understand that there's a spirit in me. That's how I opened my children's book. There's a spirit that lives inside of me. It keeps growing, it never dies. Sometimes when I'm afraid, it trembles. Sometimes when I'm hurt and ready to give up, it barely flickers, but it keeps on loving. It keeps on giving. It never dies. So that is what has taken me through whatever, coming from Chicago, auditioning for and being in the Catherine Dunham Company, traveling the world, coming back to New York, getting into some Broadway shows, finding myself as an actress, the whole thing. But the most important thing to me is in that song that I wrote called Praise You, which was taken, the British musician heard it and put some of his music to it rhythmically, and it became an international hit. That's great. But the important thing is the spirit, praise you. That's what I'm trying to tell myself, trying to tell the world, that if we're into that, then our creativity makes a good difference. And that's what I want to do, make a good difference.
Now you mix your spirituality with the arts, because that is important also.
Absolutely. That's me. And I had to find myself, because, in theater, many things, you get on the stage and you're showing your gifts, and it becomes an ego trip. It was never that with me. I couldn't, not that I didn't want to, but intentionally, I had no choice. Spirit has come to me many times. People say, what are you talking about, spirit? There's a quality in most human beings that raises them up above the argument, above the negativity. And that's what I want to do. Our people of African ancestry, have had a terrible time from the beginning of our beginning here till today, trying to overcome oppression, trying to overcome hate. And so when I wrote that album, the first album, the song in there, first one is, But It Comes Out Mad. Okay, we have to love, we have to go and do work every day. We have to be creative, but somehow the terror that we have experienced and still experiencing makes a difference, and it comes out mad. So I had to explain, I had to talk about my father, born in Alabama, coming through all the terrors of that experience, but being able to overcome it. Today, what's happening in Washington today, the anniversary of that attack on our government, really, we have to be aware of those people, of those energies. And my thing was to stop the damage. My father was damaged by that experience. In Chicago, there was a lot of damage on our people. So I said, I'll use my art, my storytelling to identify that damage and then help get rid of it. That's what I do.
Yeah.
But It Comes Out Mad was one of those songs.
Yeah. What can people do today to get in line with that spirit and with that thought of moving together in the same direction for a common cause?
Well, it's on the front pages today. It goes back to our story. Who are we really? When we recognize who we are, our ancestors will tell us of that. We'll understand how strong we are. You said we come from, not from people who gave up all the time. No, we struggled for good and for better. You see, when we do better here, everybody does better. You know what I mean? When we were not on television, we worked to get on television. Now everybody's on television. So there's a joy in doing it. There's a joy in confrontation, that which is destructive, and say, no, I have this that goes beyond it. You want me to hate you? I'm not gonna hate you. I hate what you do, but I'm not gonna let hate come into me. I'm gonna go beyond that and write my songs and do my dance and tell my stories. So I'm having a good time in one way, except that there are a lot of people who say, shut up. But today, the whole country is trying to go back and find the bottom line. What is the truth of our existence as a people? Because the whole world is going through that same thing of self-discovery, of sharing our humanity. And so all of my books, I have this one, The Shimmer Shine Queens.
Yeah.
That's about two young girls born in what is called a ghetto. I call it the redlined districts, who managed through art, through bringing a family together, to surmount it, to go beyond that. That's what I do. Tamika, and in all of these books, there are songs and poetry. So Tamika and the Wisdom Rings, you always go back to find what helped you in the back. You can use it right now. And so her parents gave her 3 rings to show ancestry. So all of that is what I use. I think I'm answering your question. I'm not sure. But today, the question is, let's tell the truth. Let's not say that we shouldn't read history books. Let's not say we shouldn't tell the truth of our history. Face it, there are racists in the country, and they did terrible things to our people. Okay, that was then. Your ancestries, European Americans' ancestries did terrible things. That was then. Know it, but go beyond that. You're here today. No sense in just hating and carrying on anymore.
Yeah, and you know, your book, what inspired you to write the book that you published, your book on cornrow?
Well, it wasn't, our lives were different then than now. There were times coming out of the South where we were still hiding our hair. As a people coming out of enslavement, we were taught that we didn't have hair, we had wool, like a sheep or something. And so we would hide it until we went to church. Then we went to church, we'd straighten it and do a whole thing and look pretty. Okay, but when we came out of that church, we went back to covering our hair, to hiding it. So my thing was, and others too, but they didn't write the book about it, was to give roots to the cornrows. Roots meant going back to the motherland. That's where it started. Yeah. And I was sad, I was sorry to see people ashamed of their hair and hiding it. So no, put it out there, give it the crown that it deserves. It is your crown. So that is what started me to write that book. And especially for all of my books are family books. That one starts, these books start with children. And then you see the elders bringing in information to the children so we can love ourselves.
And of course, that book still stands today. It impacts young people today.
Absolutely.
People still are worried about, how their hair is this way and that way.
Braided, under braided, over braided, up and braided down, braid in circles, braid in angles, and you wear it like a crown. You understand?
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, I still remember the smell of the hot iron and all that stuff back in the day.
And the burned neck, and the burned ears.
Yeah.
Trying to look like someone else. But our hairs, I often use this expression. I used it way back in the 70s also. Our hair has a mind of its own. It just keeps going home, no matter what.
I'm trying to find a way to go get myself a haircut right about now.
I'm trying to get mine together. I want a big fro the way I used to have when I was.
Yeah. I tried it a couple of years ago. The big fro.
You didn't.
It worked out well until some people said, you're going back, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be humongous, but give it the respect. That's all.
Exactly. So, what are we working on now? You have something that you're working on now that we should know about? I know you were in a number of commercials that came on TV.
My song was in the commercials, yes.
Right.
We've come a long, long way together. I have to praise you.
Right.
I work, and thank God for those commercials and for the unions, which back you up, because especially now in this time of horror in some ways, and people dying and having disease. You have to have something else to rely on. And so now I forgot what you asked me. What did you say? What was that?
The stuff that you're working on today. But we did mention the commercials that your songs were in. Right.
I am working on an autobiography, which tells a story of something of what I said before. Spirituality.
Yes.
And how I had to combine my efforts as a performer with that. There were times when, we were just snatched out of our homeland with leaving traditions, thousands of years of traditions and practice, and brought over here. But the African part is still inside. We don't say it because we were brutalized. We had to not think of Africa anymore during that. Take it from your mind. But those things were still inside. And I found that on occasion, they would come out in me, would express itself. One time I was on the stage at Forge Theater in Washington, D.C., in a play, God's Trombones, I think it was called, or Trumpets of the Lord. They had the two names to it. And something people say, some people say you got happy. I didn't get happy. The spirit came out. And at the end of the show, when we're on all singing, "Some glad I'm here, oh, some glad I'm here," I couldn't sing it anymore. I was supposed to be clapping, and I wasn't clapping, and I wasn't singing, and we're all singing at the, and I wanted to reach out to the audience and talk to them. Finally, at the end, I was able to leave with the rest of the cast. But backstage, audience came, and they were hugging and kissing and telling us how good the show was. But the producer came, and he came to me and he said, "What are you doing? What was that you were doing?" I almost got fired because of that. But the rest of the people who had come backstage were church people. And they said, "Leave her alone. She knows, we know what she's doing. You're the only person out here who doesn't know what she's doing." So we all laughed about that. But I'm saying that to say that that energy will come out occasionally. And we need to pay more attention, because that's the energy of Dr. King. That's the energy of Marcus Garvey. That's the energy of all of our women who are strong. And that's what we have to recognize. And so in my work, that's what I do. I recognize.
Well, listen, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to see you. We love you. And you're always welcome to come back again. And I can't stop thanking you for writing that piece in my book, People to Know in Black History and Beyond. You open up that front page and you're right there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, brother. Love you.
Love you too.
Thank you.
Nana Camille Yarbrough. Nana Camille Yarbrough. Of course, she's an author, poet, singer, and songwriter.
Yes.
On for you. We'll take a break right here. And Bobby C, he has the latest in the world of sports. More Open coming up next.
Last time out on the show, we caught up with Football Hall of Famer Mel Renfro to talk about his incredible NFL career. Here's part 2 of that interview. That was actually one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on our show this morning as well, was to talk a little bit about a project that you've been working on, and with another couple of NFL greats, and Ken Houston and Joe Green. And it has to do with Southern Recipe and Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. They're gearing up for their 13th annual Pork Rind Appreciation Day. I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about that. I know Coach Dick is involved with that, and it's a charity that does a lot for players from yesteryear, stars of yesteryear that could certainly use it.
Well, you can get addicted on those things. My wife put them in front of me. I just couldn't stop eating them. Being able to align myself with some of the other players, Mean Joe Green, who dear friend of mine till this day, and put together the Gridiron Greats to raise funds for those guys that didn't make the big bucks that they're making these days. I look at some of these players who make more in one game or one play than I made my whole career. So it's incredible the amount of money that they make. But the guy that when we played, we didn't make that kind of money. So there is a need to raise funds to help those guys with their physical and emotional needs.
And Mel, many times retired greats, like we said, from that era, often struggle with paying bills. And, what can fans at home do to try to assist them? I mean, they grew up watching these players, they idolize them, they love them. People, of course, that were your fans. What can they do to step up to try to help them out?
Just get involved, pull up the website, see where you can participate in donations and follow what's going on. Like I said, Mike Ditka and I go back from the beginning, and he's got a heart of gold. I'd do anything for the guy. He called me right now. I'd fly to Chicago and have lunch with him. But it's a need that you can't imagine someone who's played the game, who had the notoriety, who has no money now, can't even pay their bills or their rent, can't take care of their families. That's why we reach out as far as we can and do what we can to help these former players.
Mel, do you ever get a chance to go like on YouTube and watch some of the highlights from your career?
Yeah, sometimes it's always fun to pull that up. My grandkids always they see old film of me and say, "Wow," they say, "Wow, Grandpa." That's some good stuff, and it's just you feel good to know that your memory's there, your history's there, and the people will remember you for all time.
When you look back at those days, or maybe if the grandkids or just even some of the fans from today ask you about watching today's game and the modern game, is there a particular player that you watch in today's game that reminds you a bit of yourself?
Well, it's a different game. It's really a different game. The way they cover, the way they line up, the sets, 4 or 5 receivers at a time, the way that the defenses are set. It's hard for me to determine sometimes, what the game plan is or what they're trying to do. But they make it entertaining, and there's some incredible athletes out there. You see some incredible plays, and it's just to enjoy. It's a joy to watch the game and to just remember back and know that you were a part of that. And it's just like what America's all about. They say baseball, but football is right there with it.
Oh, absolutely. When I go back to watch some of your highlights, I think maybe a fair modern comparison might be someone like Deon Sanders, who had such an incredible impact on the game.
Well, Deon, incredible player, incredible speed, incredible eye for the ball, incredible personality. He had the Hollywood personality to the game. And, I enjoy watching a guy like that. I always joke, and I don't mean anything down about Deon, but I was Deon, a lot of offense, kind of a part-time player, but Bill Renfro was a full-time player.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, I mean, before we let you go, Mel, I mean, thinking and reminiscing about some of those great seasons for you and your career, is there still like a certain game that stands out? I mean, I'm assuming the 2 Super Bowls have to be at the top of that list, but so many great moments, even in the Pro Bowl, being a defensive MVP in one of the Pro Bowls that you played.
Well, yeah, Pro Bowl, I guarantee you, when we lost Super Bowl V, was probably one of the downest moments of my life. I mean, it's our game. We win that game. Bad official calls, tip pass, all that baloney. The official gave the game to Baltimore, and I was down that whole week. I went out to LA to play in the Pro Bowl. Didn't leave my room the entire week. Well, played the game. 4 quarters, all on defense, all special teams. Returned 2 punts for touchdowns, and was named offensive MVP as a defensive back. And I think that kind of brought me back to life and took some of the sting out of losing Super Bowl V. And fortunately, we came back the very next year and won Super Bowl VI. So, it was a Cinderella ending, and I think that Pro Bowl really brought me back to life at a very down time.
That's wonderful, Mel. And I don't know how often, I'm assuming that you probably do. I mean, I see your Cowboy shirt there. I mean, are you still watching the team a lot? I know after your playing days, you had gone on to scout and coach and work in different capacities, especially as a motivational speaker, but still keeping tabs on the Cowboys. Have been playing pretty well this year.
Oh yeah, no question about it. I'm right on top of it. It's hard to understand sometimes the roller coaster, the up and down, and it seems like it's a team effort. When they play bad, they all play bad. When they play good, they all play good. So if the coach could find the key to why that is happening and put some consistency in how they play, each and every game, each and every play, I think they've got a chance to do very well this year.
They definitely appear to have the talent to win the whole thing, especially when they're playing at their best.
Absolutely. They've got what it takes. They've got the ingredients. They've got the formula. They've got to get a more consistent attitude, and they're going to be right there on top at the end.
Well, Mel, I hope that the Cowboys are able to get things together. It'd be nice to see America's team back in business. Really appreciate you taking some time with us. And again, for the fans at home, please take advantage and try to help out with this great charity to try to help some of the great stars of yesteryear.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate being on the show.
Thanks again, Mel.
Enjoying it. You got your shoes kicked off, you're relaxing your feet, and I've got you covered. You are watching Open and we're having fun together. Hope you are. Our next guest is a licensed clinical social worker, author. She's the founder of Latinx and Social Work and an advisor. She does a whole lot, a Latino Social Work Scholarship Fund. And she joins us today to speak about the challenges and success of Hispanic social workers in the New York City area and to share some of the stories chronicled in the anthology. You're going to find out more about that, a lot more. Latinx and social work. Please welcome to the show, Erica Sandoval. Welcome, Erica. Nice to see
Bob.
you. Yes.
So great to see you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, you're always welcome to hang out on this show and let us know about all the wonderful work that you're doing in our community. Now, you're gathered together with about 21 peers in this special piece that you're putting together. Talk about it.
It's been a dream. This has been my purpose. I never knew what it was till it was happening. This is it. I have been connected with social workers in my family. And during the pandemic, everyone was so isolated, but we were still doing so much work and we were being burnt out. So as I connected with my colleagues and my peers, and I connected to leaders in the community to check in and see how they are, I thought, why not? Why not put our narratives all in one place so we can share our personal narratives and support our communities through healing and resilience? Yes. It's been amazing.
Now, Latinx and social work, you have stories that heal, inspire, and connect communities. How important is that?
Well, within my own experiences in industry with racism, bias, and discrimination, which I know are experienced by every Latina, Latino, Latinx social worker, it inspired me to found Sandoval Collab, which is my first project. And this project founded the book. And the book is a DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion book, really. It serves as a tool for social work schools so future social workers can feel validated and can really understand the experiences that they may be experiencing, even walking into an educational system. And I want to share that a lot of us may not be exactly alike. We're not monolithic, but we do share one thing in common, that we have been harmed, that we have continued to heal. And while healing, we are continuing to heal our communities. Why not bring more social workers in the communities to serve the community within all different spaces? And this is the way we're doing it.
We travel around throughout the tri-state area trying to find out what students want to get involved in. And a lot of them talk about social work. upon getting involved in social work, what will they be learning?
They're going to learn about all the different aspects that you can get involved within social work. Social work is not just a social worker that's working for ACS. We want to undo that stereotype. There are social workers in politics, in healthcare, in mental health spaces, in private practice, as entrepreneurs. There's social workers in all spaces, and we're really creating such incredible change within our community so it can help them feel connected and know that they're validated for feeling a little bit afraid because there's not enough of us out there. Did you know that there's only 14% of Latino and Latinx social workers within the whole system of social work? Only 14% to serve such a large community. That's insane. We need to, go ahead.
Yeah, you're going to help change that though, right?
We really want to help change that. This is what we're doing. We're putting together our personal experiences to encourage and empower and support them. Many times social workers or even students that are thinking of going for their bachelor's degree or their master's degree, they don't think they can. They don't think they can because they never have been taught that they could. In all different spaces, even within the educational system, they have been harmed. Maybe a guidance counselor said, oh, I don't think you're going to get into that school, so don't apply. And some of the authors share their personal narratives of those experiences, the harm, those microaggressions, and those oppressive practices that just live within systems. They're shared throughout the book. So it helps validate and it helps them feel connected to a larger collective and a community.
Who are some of the authors that are involved in this project?
I have some incredible authors. I'm going to shout out my Bronx authors.
Shout them out.
Got to shout them out. We have Dr. Cindy Bautista. We have Karen Ciego. We have Madeleine Maldonado, Eureka Hernandez. We have some incredible people from the Bronx that are really doing great things, and we need to really recognize their work. And also, we have incredible social workers that are known as madrinas, like the godmothers of social workers, that are supporting and passing the baton to us so we can continue to push forward. And it's like Dr. Linda Lascelle Bryant, Dr. Rosa Gill, Maria Lizardo, who are leading organizations and education within the space of social work. They are amazing.
Yeah. What made you want to get together and create this project, this wonderful book that you put together?
Well, I've been part of the Latino Social Work Coalition Scholarship Fund for about 6 years, and I've been on the board, and I just stepped off the board, and I thought, wow, we have not been able to provide scholarships to the students that are in social work school. And the reason why, because we haven't been able to fundraise because of COVID. Our gala got canceled. Everything just turned upside down. So I came up with the idea of why don't we come together to put this book together, and then we can give partial proceeds towards scholarships. And we can also encourage students that have graduated from college that need to take their licensing exam to go for it and to not be limited by their financial distress. And so I love being a philanthropist. Has been a dream. So now I get to give back now that I'm off the board, and I get to raise funds and continue to support our students.
Yeah. Now, tell us how this book will help the Latino Social Work Coalition and the Scholarship Fund.
We're going to raise money. We're going to continue to raise money through all of the proceeds of this book. We have another book that's coming out in Spanish, the same book. Yes. And the reason why that's so important is we want our parents to be able to read it. We want social workers that are individuals that may not speak English to be able to share in our personal narratives. So we had it translated, and it's going to hit Kindle, and we hope to raise a lot of money that way. As soon as the sales go up, we donate to scholarships, and we want to make sure that everyone feels supported in the community, because it's not easy right now. It really isn't. And if you think about from my own practice, I know that often I'm the first Latina social worker, or even the social worker of color, that clients have ever worked with. And cultural humility and care can be hard to come by. So to be understood, that's a gift when you have someone else that understands you, feels you, and even speaks your own language.
Absolutely. Now I hear, I don't know if it was a birdie that told me or what, but I hear that there's another volume coming out. Is that true?
There is. This has been such a well-received book. It's entering into the schools of social work, and we've had incredible people reach out that they want to contribute their own personal narratives. So the second volume is coming out in October 2023 during Hispanic Heritage Month. Yes, we're so excited.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now you have to give there was some people who helped put it together, right? Is there a publisher or?
Oh, I want to give shout outs to my publisher, Fig Factor Publishing. Yes, Jacqueline Reese Camacho has been an angel. And she is a Latina woman-owned entrepreneur, a rock star, and she trusted me and the vision, and she has really supported in leading this project and making it successful. I am so grateful to her.
Beautiful, beautiful. Anybody else that you missed that you want to give a shout out to?
Absolutely. I want to shout out all of the authors. Luisa Lopez, who is now the president of Latino Social Work Coalition and is really pushing along the needle to making sure that all the students get their scholarships and connecting. We have so many authors to this book. I want to shout out the rest of the madrinas. Dr. Laura Quiros, who is at Adelphi, she's a social justice warrior. There's so many incredible people in this book, and I really, really recommend it to anyone and everyone that's just interested in just learning about individuals' experience and understanding oppressive practices, trauma, how identity shows up, and you'll be inspired and you'll be able to heal. It's not just for social workers, it's for everyone.
Yeah. Where do people go? You have a website where we can check out more?
Absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram at Latinx in Social Work, and my website and all my information is there.
Beautiful. There she is, Erica Sandoval, founder, Latinx in Social Work and advisor of Latino Social Work Scholarship Fund. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lee.
All right, that's about it. It's funny how time flies when you're having fun. Oh no! But we appreciate you and thank you so much. We want to thank all of our viewers for viewing in, for tuning in and checking it all out. And that about does it. I'll catch you another day, another way, and I'll see you over 107.5 WBLS. Always remember this: what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice. Let your choice control the chooser. Of the Dr. Bob Lee. Catch you another day, another way. Love you all. Peace.